Welcome back to the Nomad CEO. I'm here with Wes Towers, and his last name indicates the industries he's working in. He's an
Yeah, that's
entrepreneur,
cool.
founder, a very interesting personality, and he's on my show because I only want interesting people here. And we are going to deep dive into another transformational story about reinvention. And so I wanted to welcome you to the show, Wes. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to ask you, what was your pivotal moment and how did you end up becoming the person you are today as an entrepreneur? I understand you're in the construction business, helping other entrepreneurs build their online presence through websites. And so that's really, I think, interesting. And then, yeah, please share your story.
Yeah. So the interesting part really starts with a kick in the teeth, so to speak. So where everything felt like it was collapsing around me, and it started with a separation, divorce. So one day I was in the family home and everything seemed to be okay, not great, but okay. And then I found out something that within the marriage, and next day I was sleeping under the desk in the office. It was a really stressful and down time. Really a hard time in and of itself. But then also through that process, I needed to get the business value because everything gets assessed through the divorce process. And the business valuer came back and said he valued my business less than the assets it held. So I don't even know how that's possible, but he said to me that, well, in the report, it said that AI was a significant threat to my industry. I design websites. I do search engine optimization and do it for the construction and trades niche. But he said that AI was a massive threat to my business. So therefore he couldn't really put any true significant value on the business. So um, so that was a real wake up call for me.
Sorry for interject here.
Yeah.
Why would he come up with such a absurd statement that you were a threat to your business? I don't know. How
No,
could
no,
you?
AI was a threat to my business.
AI was a threat. I understood you were a
Yeah.
threat to
Sorry.
your business. What?
Yeah. Sorry. That's my Aussie accent getting the better of me. Sorry about that. I'll try
AI.
and,
So because I understood I was a, and then you said
uh,
AI. So yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
AI. So, and it could have been true. So that, um, but rather than seeing AI, I'll try and speak more clearly. I know that we Aussies can slur our words a little bit. Instead of it being a threat, I chose to take it as an opportunity and transform the business. And so I started to include AI into the business process of how we do business, but also how we optimize websites for clients, and streamline some of the process and train clients in how to use AI to better provide their marketing material and so on. Instead of it being a threat to the business, it became an opportunity and just reported the
Yeah.
best financial year ever. So I'm glad the valuer, he had to value it, the business at the time, snapshot in time, but it was a real wake up call. It was a real kick in the teeth. All of that happening all at once. So my personal life breaking down in terms of marriage, the missing of the children because I didn't have them nearly as much as I would have liked, and then the business also being in perceived jeopardy. It was a horrendous time, but to come out the
How
other
long
side
ago?
stronger. 3 years. 3 years ago was, well, that's, yeah, 3 years ago, separation and divorce and the valuation. Well, it's probably more than that now. Yeah, it's 3.5 years ago, separation. About 3 years ago, business value. three
Just
years
with
ago,
the end
business
of
value.
COVID.
Yeah, so all off the back of all of that stuff as well. So I mean, I guess everyone was a bit stressed and challenged in those times. So yeah, maybe that led to some of the breakdowns that we had. So but
How badly was your business affected by the COVID restrictions and all of that?
business was okay for me because everyone was looking to do a digital transformation. So initially when it sort of happened, and I'm in Victoria, Australia, so we had the strictest lockdowns almost in the world. I think we were one of the worst lockdown states. So there was a lot of mental health challenges. People were having significant problems. but from a business standpoint, I was doing really well just because the businesses that
Yeah, makes
were still
sense.
functional, yeah, needed digital transformation. But I did see a lot of businesses really struggle. So clients that, one day
Mine.
their doors are shut. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hell. It seems to be for us here in Victoria, Australia. A lot of the lockdown, it wasn't even on medical advice. It was just our politician thinking he knew everything and
Yeah,
going
yeah.
heavy
So this
handed.
is yeah. Also, this is true in all just about every Western. Well, all
Yeah.
around the globe, I guess. But I've seen in Australia, in this. I've seen a few reports and all on alternative media that Australian politicians are exceptionally stupid, and yes, like draconic stuff, like really, and people like on the streets being literally dragged into uh, like arrested on absurd
Yeah. It was
accusations and
Yeah, it was horrendous. Really, it was really, really bad. So, of Australia, my state was clearly the worst, Victoria, and we've still got the repercussions now. So, there's lots of businesses struggling. I had a call 2 days ago from another client. He'd been, I thought, progressing okay since COVID. He had a terrible time during COVID, but I thought he was on the way out. But even now, even these years later, he's decided to close the doors. He can't afford the rent. The living crisis here is horrible. There's no one's got lots of people that have not got the money they need just for basic living. So we've got a housing crisis, so many problems off the back of what they did back then. So for businesses, so yeah, it's really difficult.
yeah, and there's also I think an element of just luck. I mean, in terms of who got the short end of the stick back then as a business, a lots of. I mean, if you were like your business, like digital transformational businesses or help online businesses that are service-based digital services, that really never shut down. And by the contrary, a lot of businesses benefit from. But if you had like a physical location that involved
Mm.
transactions on, then you were just fucked. I mean, this is it
Oh
is
yeah,
this yeah, so totally screwed over. And that
yeah,
was okay. Yeah, so you were. This was just being on the lucky side or not for many.
yeah,
But the consequences of that, and as you brought up, right? So mental health for a lot of people, children and adults alike, terrible. And then how, I mean, because I have had in the past here on my show different people from all walks of life. I mean, it's not a surprise that a lot of these breakdowns and struggles and what I call rock bottom moments have occurred during these years, right? So a lot, for many people, I
yeah.
mean, some of them I've had some of them even going back further back into 2008 when the financial crisis happened. I have had one financial advisor on the show, but most of them happened around COVID 2020 to 21,
Yeah.
which makes sense, right? Um, but
Yeah.
it's also and in your case is a good example for that. It's also, although it was a kick in the teeth, it was also an opportunity to turn it around and then I mean it didn't complete in your case you never shut down because of the
No.
COVID. You didn't have to reinvent the whole thing, but you still took
Yeah.
advantage of the this person what happened to you, right? So a divorce
Yeah.
can be equally destructive emotionally
Yeah.
from from for especially for men because we often walk away with nothing and the family courts are not really friendly towards men usually. I don't know as Australia. I just know that in Germany and in the US the
Mm.
situation is just terrible. So it's an industry that
Yeah.
basically profits of men destroying men's um complete existence, right? Often and
Yeah.
unfair in from every angle you look at, totally unfair and like rigged against most men. And so I don't know, Australia, I guess it's similar because Australia has a very Western oriented culture. Am I right?
Yeah, I would say it's consistent across the Western sort of world. All of us
Hemis yeah.
experience the same sort of challenges.
But you never lost access to your children, for example. You could be grateful for that, I guess. Did you?
Yeah, I didn't have them. I didn't have them nearly as much as I I felt like I should have, but you kind of,
At least, yeah.
yeah, at least I got to see them. I mean, I met and know of guys who lost any contact because the problem is, so anyone can, so it's just thinking of one guy, anyone can make a accusation against a person and the police have to go through the process of proving it right or wrong. But in that meantime, they've got to act as if it's a threat and a danger for the like for the people involved. So it could be years before you even get heard, you know? So that's one guy I was thinking of who, not me, fortunately, but he had some accusations against him. So he hadn't seen the children for years and his case hadn't even been heard yet. And he'd lost years and years of their lives. So I don't know what the good answer is to that because, yes, people need to be protected if there is a legitimate concern, but anyone can make up anything as well. So it's just a horrible scenario that people face.
Yeah, when you say people, it's also mostly men. I because there is this assumption of not innocence, but the opposite, right? They always assume that the guy is the problem, and then it starts from there. And so a lot of, I mean, I think this is deeply sad. I mean, it's just because no wonder people like men kill themselves in droves, and the suicidality statistic rates are through the roof in 5 times as much as women. And so a lot of those happen because of breakups, right? Because of these situations where
Mm.
you don't lose access to your kids, which can be life shattering. You can How would you focus on your business, building your new website for the construction if you can't see your kids? I mean, it's fucking it destroys you, right? So makes
Yeah.
no you can't focus on anything when the most important value in your life is gone. So it's just and
Yeah.
it's impossible,
Yeah,
right?
really, it is. It's really, really, really difficult time. So I was fortunate that I could keep the business ticking over. So through that horrible time, and I just had to think about the long term, particularly with the kids as well, because I mean, I don't know what was being communicated to them, but
How old are they?
well, they're now 17 and 13. So minus a few years, when it started. But yeah, so my eldest son is now working with me a little bit. He's doing social media. So the relationship there is strong. So I just had to, in those really difficult times, realize even though things might be stacked against me somewhat for that period of time and it was horrible, I had to play the long game and realize, okay, well, eventually they'll be in their adult lives and they'll be able to make their own decisions. So yeah, so my son working with me is fantastic. My second son is about to finish his high school and then he's going to train to be a personal trainer. So I just have to play the long game and realize, the relationships I had with them were really solid as kids. There's a bit of a gap time because I didn't see them nearly as much as I want, but I can rebuild those connections in the future. Not ideal,
Yeah,
but the only thing you can do in those difficult circumstances.
yeah. Luckily, they also were old enough to understand what's going on or what's going
Yeah,
on, because it's
yeah,
different when you have a 3-year-old that doesn't really understand why you're not there,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
and that can make a difference, I guess. So what would you say to those out there who are going through something similar or have been or still going through something similar? How do you not end up with a victim mindset and keep pushing forward?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So I was at like a Christmas party with a bunch of friends, and there was a guy there who'd been through a similar scenario, but a little bit earlier than me, and his whole attitude was so negative. He was a complete victim. Um, just seeing him thinking, okay, he's probably got every reason to be like that, but it's not helpful or healthy for him to move forward. So I just kind of thought, I can't become that guy. I've got to find positivity. I've got to move forward. I've got to focus on the things I can control. So the business, I'm going to grow the business, which I did. I'm going to focus on making it more profitable. I'm going to make some necessary adjustments to my life, my health. Started going to the gym. Anything that I could control, even though in small ways. Started eating healthier, going to the gym, doing breath work, doing cold plunges, a whole bunch of small things that helped me through a difficult time, but also build into the future. Because no one wants to be stuck in the negativity. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is how you turn around your most awful moments and turn them around and turn them into a huge opportunity for improvement, like self-improvement as becoming a better person. And that's how you can actually use that negative energy and then transcend it into something greater than yourself, right? You can work on those little habits that every day, like those, as you
Yeah.
said, the
100%. 100%. So,
because it's always something you can do about a particular moment, even if you feel like shit, like terrible, and you have, let's call it a throwback into an episode, into some, I don't know, just a memory that pulls you back into this negative mindset. Even in that moment, you can actually come up and say, stop, I'm going to do some breath work, and I'm
mm,
just going to meditate, and I'm going to get control over my body. And then from there, after that, things just look differently.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just to change your state in the short term, because you can just become so unregulated, really quickly in really difficult circumstances. But yeah, I love what you've transformed your world. I mean, moving location, that's a pretty big thing, and setting up a new life and everything you're doing. I think that's admirable, to be able to do that and rebuild something new with what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. It hasn't been easy either because after COVID, when I started to rebuild, I was left with no money. So it was all, and I didn't really have a plan. So it really just evolved as I moved forward. And so things started to pop up in opportunities, and now I'm doing this. It's just something that in my inside I thought was the right thing to do. I don't even know, but I do know that what can be a life hack, I would call it life hack in difficult situations, is really just, because I've done this several times, and I'm the person, sort of that type of person. Many people are not very. They for other people, this might come a little bit as a difficult measure, but changing your location, like geographic location, like drastically, if you go like completely removing yourself from an equation, from a location, it does give you like a fresh start, because you now have, we totally underestimate how these how environment has an what an environment has an impact on ourselves, because you're not only removing the environment, you're also removing all of these negative people around you, and then you
Yeah.
just have a totally different, it's just it's a clean slate almost, if you get your shit together in terms of your mental inner game, and you don't keep going back mentally. If you are able
Yeah.
to sort of stay in the present moment as much as you can, do all of those things that you brought up, like I mean, focusing what's there, what you can control, and then
Mm,
remove yourself from that location and you start over. It's a powerful thing to do. You can actually reset your life from yeah, that's what I've experienced.
yeah. Yeah. 100%. I mean, for me, because I've got obviously the relationships and kids, and I want to still see them. But otherwise, I mean, if I went anywhere in the world, I mean, I haven't given it lots of thought, but somewhere, maybe Vietnam looks like a pretty cool place, well, a warm place. But I don't know. We've got flexibility, haven't we? As people sort of get locked into their hometown, but the whole world, you can go anywhere. It's so
Yeah.
many
I
options.
mean, that is the beauty of having an online business, right? So because I didn't
Yeah.
have that either. The one that crashed and burned my business, my bankrupted business, I didn't have the flexibility either. I had a
Mm,
very much traditional visit. I was locally bound. I had a business with a warehouse and products inside, and so a big
mm,
team of people that I had to manage. And so, yes, I did travel a lot even back then, but it was always involved. It delegated my responsibilities to my employees,
yeah.
and you can do that, but you never really. I mean, it's a double-edged sword because you can have. It depends on how much control you give away, and in my case, I didn't do it the right way, which is also in part why everything imploded um when it all happened. So because I didn't have the necessary control, or I gave it away in a way, and it was just stupid. Short story, but yeah. So now I'm building a different business because now everything I do is online as well, and so this allows me to be location independent, and
Mm.
it is a great feeling. I really enjoy that now more than ever because I just grab my laptop and I go working wherever. I can be in a jungle, sitting in a jungle in a tree house and then doing my stuff. That's where
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, yeah. The digital nomad sort of lifestyle is really appealing. I mean, I think I might look at it maybe a bit later on in life, when the kids are all grown up and all that sort of stuff, and maybe I'm near retirement or something. And as you say, I can work anywhere because we design websites, we do search engine optimization. That's all on a computer. Having the flexibility, it's kind of like a lifestyle business, isn't it? So you build your business around the lifestyle you want to live, as opposed to just building something that's just for profit alone. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. So what are the problems you solve? I want to go a little bit deeper on your business side of things. So you said you do SEO and but not just SEO, right? You also build websites specifically for construction businesses, right?
Yeah, that's right. So most of our clients are in the construction related industry. That's our niche. I've still got, it wasn't always that way. So I've got clients outside of that, but that's our ideal moving forward, is that niche. But we do a lot of search everywhere optimization now. We used to call it search engine optimization, but optimizing for all the platforms, large language models, ChatGPT and the like, because businesses are searching. I'm not just on Google anymore. They're finding they're finding companies in a whole range of platforms, social media, obviously, but to be found in ChatGPT, which we're putting a lot of attention into at the moment, is really powerful. We had a client a couple of weeks back call to thank me because he got found on ChatGPT. Someone searched for the best. He's a particular type of consultant, best one in Australia, and he came up as the very best. Um, According to ChatGPT, he won the contract, $160,000 Aussie dollars, so it's a little less than US dollars. But as even so, a massive, massive contract for him. So that's how people are interacting on the internet, online, different to they once did. So staying on top of that for clients and helping them optimize for these platforms has been a lot of fun, and it's changing all the time. So it's kind of keeping me on my toes to stay up with what's going on.
I've had a ChatGPT lead the other day too, not long ago, a few days
Oh,
ago,
cool.
which I found also extraordinary. It means that someone found my newsletter because of ChatGPT. So it was recommended.
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what they searched for?
No, it doesn't say because I can.
Yeah,
So I run a platform called Beehive also for my clients. We build newsletters for all sorts of different niches actually, and that when you get your subscriber, it always tells you where they come from, but it doesn't really say what the query was
yeah,
but you can tell where it's from through Google Tag Manager.
yeah, yeah. Brilliant. It's so interesting. So, and because there's back in the day in the old school SEO world, it was so easy to measure this kind of thing because you'd set up you're targeting 20 keywords, whatever the case may be, and you could see where you rank in Google, and you see how many clicks you get, and then you figure out how much business you get done as a consequence of all of that. So you could measure it really easy. But now people are searching it on Google and they get the AI overview. So the answer is there and your brand might have been mentioned and they might call, but there's no click. So we can't measure it. Or even to a greater extent, people might be talking to their ChatGPT and getting the answer and you come up. They might not necessarily need to click anything to go to a website. So it's not measured, but you're still getting the brand awareness. So it's challenging in my industry a little bit because people had learned you could get these reports and you could see the sequence of events and equate a return on investment for the service offering. Now it's tricky to measure, so that's a challenge in the industry, but it's definitely worth pursuing and investing in for businesses. It's just, yeah, we're just sort of figuring out how to communicate the value because it was so easy previously.
Okay, so what are the three biggest mistakes business owners make when it comes to getting seen or included by those LLM models, ChatGPT, and etc.?
Yeah. Well, the same kind of principles that always applied to search engine optimization now apply to the LLM. The producing quality content that is understandable by the platforms is the goal. But the mistake people are making is they're just jumping on their preferred LLM and producing content at mass, and they're not guiding what it says or how it's saying it. So you've really got to bed down your voice, so how you communicate, the words, the phrases, the style of writing, but also your unique message. So the content that you're writing is uniquely yours, and you're dictating to it what the topic is about, not it the other way around. Because if you leave it to the device LLM to decide, it's just going to be generic, bland, what everyone else has already said. It's not adding any value, and therefore it's probably not going to rank very well. It's not going to be found or referenced in anywhere really. So adding value of substance to your content is always the gold. It's always been the gold, but people are trying to shortcut that. It's a massive mistake. You can produce heaps of content and just not be found ever because you've tried to cheat and shortcut your way to the top. That's the biggest
Yeah,
mistake.
it's just
Yeah.
laziness. It's just people trying to outsmart the algorithm, and then they're just stupid because they cut the corners where they shouldn't, and then because everyone can just tell the LLM to produce 1,000-word
Yeah.
articles and then
Yeah.
copy paste it into a stupid blog page. Makes no sense.
Yes.
I mean, even yeah, but it's. I mean, people are just what they are, right? So they do this, but they're. So this is interesting because the the right way to do it is obviously the way you use prompts when guiding an LLM. It means that you need to give it context, right? It has to have some context to a framework to operate within, and then it will give you a lot more tangible outcomes which can then be used. But I have another. This was just my experience. But the question I have, and this is regarding my current approach to things, because I'm obviously also ranking through my newsletters, and I create these 800 to 1,000 word newsletters. Now, my newsletters are created through these podcasts, right? So what I do use LLMs, and what I do is I use the transcript from that podcast, and I ask it to help me to craft the story arc for me, and it does it very well. And also, I have a created my own, what's it called, the GPT,
Yep.
the
The
project,
custom
so
one.
to
Yeah.
speak, where I have already all of my instructions and manual inside, and so it's really quite
Yeah.
efficient. And my question for you is, does it help to rank if you, for example, add people like I do, right? So talking about specific people and their circumstances, because now it's because my theme is always the same. I interview someone, they come up with a story, I share the story arc, and then I give a few key takeaways. Recently I started adding other stuff like, did you know, like a question, like a section where I add some relevant and remarkable facts that are related to the story. For example, in your case, I would come up with maybe some figures on Australian construction industry that are surprising or remarkable, or something that would relate to your experience from divorce and how you use that. But you know what I mean? But something that
Yeah.
in the LLM helps me to find surprising articles that could underline, or even, what's the word for that, accentuate, like make it a little bit more like
Yeah.
more important, right? So
Yeah.
it stands out from the, and this is what I'm doing. So how, now that I explained all my process, is this a good practice for SEO, or would you do differently?
Yeah, that's brilliant. So, and some of our clients, we're doing it exactly like that. So he'll produce one client I've got in mind. He'll produce videos of what he does. So he just videos a project and he's explaining where he's at and what he's doing and the outcomes and all that. And it's just him talking. So, but you can see what he's doing. But from that transcript, it's magic for content because it's all uniquely his. It's all his case studies, examples, story. But the ChatGPT will do an amazing job of collecting all those thoughts, which are a little bit jumbled and rambled, and put it in a system in a more articulate way that's
Structured.
structured. Yeah, structured in a way it's ideal because the LLMs appreciate it's in the structure that they believe is the best, and it's matching in with what else. So that works really well. And if you're adding, even taking it further than that, and adding facts and figures and statistics that supplement and support what you're saying, that's even taking it a step further than what he is. So that's brilliant. And you're guiding it. You're not just leaving all the dependence on it to produce. You're not just jumping in and saying, write me an article about blah, blah, blah. You're feeding it exactly what the topic in the conversation is. You're just enhancing it with another mechanism. So that's brilliant what you're doing, the way you're doing it. That should really help. It'll help you show up in Google as well because it's leveraging AI as well, obviously. But all of the platforms, it'll do really well. So you're on the right path for sure.
Cool. It's good to hear from an expert in SEO, because it takes time to actually get yourself into those positions that are
Yeah.
driving some organic traffic. It's not easy. I think it takes time.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you don't use AI to improve your business, you're left behind. There's no way around. There's
Mm,
no. I mean, the power of it is just amazing. And I actually saw a huge difference from ChatGPT 4 to 5 now in
mm,
writing, specifically in writing quality. It does also
mm.
understand a lot more of my history and context from where I'm going right now with the business. So I feel like it understands my particular situation and how that relates to my guests. And so the
Yeah.
story becomes a lot more. There's a lot more depth. I can feel it understands the broader
Yeah.
context of all of it. And so as I
Yeah.
move forward, those become better. I really feel like it's becoming better as I move forward. So it's exciting. So yeah,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
use it. Yeah.
It's yeah, well you're right, the latest version 5, even for programming, it like if there's a little bug or something in a website, it can help me find the little issues. It's super fast. It's phenomenal. It's what it can do.
Yes. Okay. Would you like to shout out some? I don't know, a few. How can people reach out to you and
Yep.
yeah, do
The
business with
easiest
you?
Yeah, for sure. So the easiest way is to jump on the website uplift360.com.au. We're obviously Australian business. From there you'll find all the socials as well. So and I'll connect with anyone on LinkedIn as well. You'll find my personal LinkedIn on the website too, so nice and easy.
Okay. And you're only doing business with other construction companies, or are you taking other clients too?
To a degree, so we're selective of who we take on. Well, I do have clients in a whole range of other services. If it's something we feel we can do a great job in, we'll consider it.
Okay. Good to know. All right. Well,
Cool.
it was great talking to you, Wes. Thank you for your time. Really great story. I wish you all the best with your business.
Thanks, Raymond. It's been great to have a chat.
Take care, man.